This is the Military Bottom Line Podcast, episode 61.
So I was like, all right, well, I'll just play Call of Duty with the guys I work with. That's what they're doing all day. So I decided to do that. And I did that for like probably 6 weeks. And I was like, and we got really good. We were getting dubs. Like, it was good. It was fun. It was fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. And I was like, dude, what is this helping me do?
Welcome to the Military Bottom Line Podcast, where we learn from veterans and those currently serving how to make the most out of a military contract. We're here to motivate, inspire, and help you leverage your service to positively impact you professionally, personally, and financially during your military career and beyond. What's going on, everybody? Thanks again for tuning in this week. I'm excited to bring you guys this week's guest, Naaman Taylor. But before getting there, I want to ask you guys, if you have not already left a review on Apple Podcast for this podcast, I'd really appreciate it. I don't really care if you rate it 1 star or 5 stars, just whatever your honest opinion is, that would be awesome. And also, if you have somebody that you think could benefit or could enjoy these episodes in this podcast, maybe learn about the military more if they're thinking about it, or about the opportunities within the military, definitely just send them an episode that you enjoyed and that impacted you. Just send them that episode and hopefully it'll have an impact on them. But without further ado, I want to introduce Naaman Taylor. Naaman has been in the Army for 12 years now. And typically people, once they reach 10, they kind of think, all right, let's just keep going to 20. But Naaman's got 4 years left and he has completely shifted his mindset. And he is hoping to basically make too much money before the last 4 years of his contract are up so that he gets to leave early. Find out how he's going to do this and how close he is to his goal. Stay tuned. Good morning, Naaman. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Not bad, man. I'm excited. Thanks for stepping away from your duty for a little bit, taking a little break. So always a good way to make use of these duty days.
Yeah, hopefully I can get some good information out and first sergeant doesn't come out here and bother me.
Yeah, your first sergeant's working on a Saturday too.
He popped up somehow. I was like, oh, great. All right. Well, I'm going to go make an important phone call. I'll be right back.
Awesome, man. Well, I'd love to kind of, I've seen you on Instagram a lot. I know you're doing a lot with real estate right now and active duty Army while crushing it in your real estate business. But before we get too into depth on that, I'd kind of love to hear your background, your upbringing, and why you decided to join the Army in the first place.
Yeah, so I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, originally. Spent some time with my mom growing up, went to a couple different schools. Cleveland's pretty rough. I joined the Army so I can get out of there. I didn't really want to go to college. I was playing basketball a lot, but didn't seem like it was going to work out at the college level. And I knew I didn't want a regular job in Cleveland. I was ready to go, so I joined the Army. My dad said it was a very bold move. And I took that and said, I want my life to be a series of bold moves. And I've been trying to work on that ever since.
Nice.
I joined in 2009, straight out of high school. I think I had about 45 days between graduation and when I shipped off to boot camp. I didn't really know anything about real estate growing up, very much at all. We lived Section 8 housing all around the east side and west side of Cleveland. So entrepreneurship and all that kind of, all the stuff that comes with that weren't something that I was taught at that age.
Interesting. So was there a specific reason why you joined the Army? Was there something specifically you were hoping to get out of it, or out of all the branches, how'd you land on the Army?
Yeah, most of my friends in high school, a couple of them went to the Marines, and then my best friend in high school went to the Air Force. And he was kind of telling me about the Air Force, and it didn't sound like what I wanted it to be for me as far as military. And then Army recruiter came to my school, and then my then good friend, we did the Battle Buddy system together.
Cool.
And joined the Army. So we decided to join the Army because his cousin and my best friend were both Air Force. We're like, we're just going to join the Army instead. There really wasn't too much thought behind it, just more, we're going to do this because they did that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Speak very briefly on the Battle Buddy program. What is that exactly?
Yeah, so me and my friend, we played basketball together in high school, and we decided we wanted to enlist together. So we picked the same job, which allowed us to go to basic training together, AIT together, and we even got our first duty station together.
Wow.
We even deployed to Afghanistan together.
No kidding. I've heard of people doing, the buddy program, and then somehow it all gets derailed and they don't even go to boot camp together. And then it's like, that's the end of it.
That guy goes infantry, the other guy goes artillery somehow. You're like, how did that work? Battle Buddy, how?
Oh,
so we were fortunate enough to get all of it.
Wow.
So it was really nice.
Awesome. So what did you enlist for? Did you have a preference as far as your job, or was it open contract? How'd that go?
Yeah, my recruiter was a 25 uniform, which is like comms.
Okay.
And then we ended up switching recruiters and getting a 13 Bravo. And I'm a 13 Romeo by trade. So I ended up picking an artillery job that had the highest signing bonus.
Okay.
At the time, the 13 Romeo signing bonus was $40,000 for 6 years. So I picked that one.
So basically they paid you $40,000 to do an extra 2 years, because typically it's a 4-year contract. And so it was 4-year contract. There was no bonus.
It was 3 years for like 25, and then 4 years for like 30. It kept going up. And I was like, when I first joined the Army, I was going to do 20 of these and call it a day.
Yeah.
So
it was nothing to you.
I was like, I'm just trying to get out. I don't want to be here anymore. And the Army, let's do it.
Funny.
6.
I was in a course once with this. He was a Marine Corps infantry guy, and like, he signed up for 6, no bonus. He's like, I'm going to do 20. I'm going to love it. And then like at 3-4 years, he's like, man, I could have been out right now. And I was just so hyped on it before I joined. Not even a bonus. So at least you got the $40,000 out of it.
Yeah. And those first 6 years were awesome. I loved every bit of it. Nice. I really enjoyed being in the Army for a while until, real estate kind of ruined it for me.
Okay. How long have you been in now?
12 years this month.
Okay, right on. So then, I mean, you at this point you're committed. So now you're involved in real estate. No, interesting. So that 20-year idea has faded.
It has faded over. I've been doing real estate for about 1 year now. Kind of like you did, a pandemic kind of project.
Yeah.
I kind of started doing real estate as a pandemic project, and then over the last year, we'll talk about my portfolio later a little bit and what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But that has all happened within the last 12 months.
Wow.
And it's changed my whole perspective of life and value in the marketplace and how I want to live and what a real retirement looks like to me. So it's all changed over the last year.
Yeah. That's super significant, because typically, I mean, once people reach that 10 mark, they're like, I might as well keep going, And I think this is going to be an interesting mindset shift to talk about and have other people.
Yeah, don't take light. Yes, people just take lightly 10 years of their life. It meets 10, I might as well do 10 more. What's so great about spending another 10 years doing something that maybe isn't to your full potential in your prime, early years,
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. I was a huge advocate a year before this about doing 20 years in the Army.
Interesting.
I was that guy. Like, don't get out, stay in, And I don't tell people to get out now, but if they're not doing anything else, this is probably the best thing for them to do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about what the past 12 years has looked like and how you ultimately got to where you are now. So you're an artillery guy. I mean, specifically what within artillery?
Radar. So I started in 2009. My first duty station was Fort Carson, Colorado. I deployed out of there in 2010 to Afghanistan. Then I went to Korea 4 years, my second duty station. Fort Hood as a third, deployed out of there to Iraq. Then I went to Germany for 3 years. And then the pandemic happened when I was in Germany.
I mean, you've been around a bit. That's a pretty good 12 years. I mean, as far as travel,
I'm in Oklahoma now.
Deployments. What's that?
I'm in Oklahoma. So I mean, like I've had quite a bit of duty stations in the 12 years.
It sounds like, I don't know, from what I understand, Oklahoma's probably the worst out of all of them so far. And what's your thought on that?
It depends on what it is you're trying to do. So I'm an hour and 15 minutes away from Oklahoma City, which is a great market to be in.
Cool.
Versus when I lived in Germany, I was 5,000 miles away from every market.
You didn't want to buy anything out in Germany, huh?
I did. I started in Germany. I bought my first house, my first investment property, like a bird from Germany. Yeah.
All right. Let's just get into this then. So, basically, you're in Germany and pandemic hits. I mean,
so it started. I want to say pandemic started really coming around January, right?
Okay.
Of 2020.
Yep.
And then I bought an Xbox. I'm like, I see the writing on the wall. I'm like, well, what am I going to do? I've been Army and hardcore for 11 years.
Yeah.
It's been Army and hardcore. I was a marksmanship instructor. I was like, let's just keep doing this Army stuff. And then pandemic hits. And I got this time now. We're all like quarantining and stay home, 6 feet, social distance.
And
so I bought Xbox, and
your first move was to be like, all right, I'm going to use this time to play video games. That was like your thought.
I didn't play. Yeah. I didn't play video games for like 10 years.
Huh.
And I bought an Xbox. So I said, what am I going to do? All the guys I worked with played Call of Duty. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just play Call of Duty with the guys I work with. That's what they're doing all day. So I decided to do that. And I did that for like probably 6 weeks. And I was like, and we got really good. We were getting dubs. Like, it was good. It was fun. It was fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. And I was like, dude, what is this helping me do? And I started watching YouTube videos. My first go-to, of course, was Dave Ramsey. And then I did everything he said to do in like 3 weeks. So then, besides pay down, go ahead.
I mean, so I guess I want to understand your baseline mindset with finances and personal development. And like, why did you start with Dave Ramsey? What kind of experience did you have until that point that made you start with Dave Ramsey?
Yeah, so I had very little experience. I had owned a duplex that I used my VA loan. Hack, but I didn't know I was house hacking. I didn't have an investor mindset. It's just somewhere that I lived. And I had a single family home that I owned. But again, this was just a place that I lived.
So you already had, did you? I
had 3 properties.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't like, let's scale, let's burr, let's house hack. I didn't know any of these things.
It happened on accident.
I had a realtor friend that was like, you should buy a house. I'm like, will you help me? Kind of deal. Those 3, that duplex and that house, those were just, not any investment mindset at all. Just I needed somewhere to live because I was a staff sergeant and so that was my background on housing. I didn't know anything. I bought a new build duplex, hired property management, lived in one side, rented the other.
New build, so probably nowhere near like cash flowing if you moved out.
Also, my mortgage was $1,300, and I could charge $1,000 for rent.
Okay, per side.
So I was okay.
And
I was living on the one side, and I charged $500 for roommates. I was making money to live there already.
Right on.
That wasn't still. This was just my friend needed a place to live. Yeah. You can rent a room for me. And this wasn't. I find out. 5 years later, I'm house hacking, the ultimate house hack. I don't know any of that though. At the time, I was 23 when I bought that place. I'm 30 now, so I've had that place for 7 years. And so I started with Dave Ramsey. We can go back to that. I knew him because the Army offered some of his classes and stuff like that to AIT students and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So I listened to him for probably 2 weeks, did everything you're supposed to do, and I realized like I'm not gonna get rich anytime soon doing this.
Yeah.
Or not even rich, but like I'm not making really any money. I'm saving what I don't spend. I already made my coffee at home. I'm like, this isn't it for me.
Yeah.
And just so happens the YouTube algorithm worked in a Bigger Pockets episode beneath that.
Interesting.
And not a new Bigger Pockets episode, like old Brandon Turner, pimply face, short beard, Brandon Turner.
Yeah.
I started watching Bigger Pockets, dude. And I watch 100 episodes of it. It's my new thing.
Yeah.
Instead of playing video games all day, I just watch 6 hours of Bigger Pockets or something.
It's so funny because I feel like most people, once they find Bigger Pockets, like if they're gonna do it, they they start listening to episodes nonstop until like they've bought their first property, then gone from there.
Yeah, and I wasn't like having to go to work or anything because of the pandemic. We were all standing down, kind of like checking in. You know, there was no real class.
Yep. So then basically you give up the Xbox at that point and you're fully committed just researching real estate online because of one Bigger Pockets video that was recommended to you.
Yeah, the YouTube algorithm just like it was next episode, play next.
Yeah.
Boom, goes.
Yeah.
And then I watch 100 of them, and I start realizing like I can do this.
Mm.
You know, the bird strategy.
Yeah.
And I reach out to a guy, one of the podcasts I listened to. He had 2 episodes, and I was like, I think if I reach out to him, he'll be able to mentor me if I just ask.
Which
and
episodes? I'm curious.
I don't remember the number, but it was Josiah Smelzer. That's who I hit up.
Smelzer.
Yeah. So I just hit him up. He's nice. He's a great guy, man. I owe him, a lot of credit. I mean, I took action, but like he really helped me. So I just hit him. I went in his DMs on Instagram. He has like 20,000 followers, nothing too crazy, but like, and I didn't do what everybody says to do, like just blast out 100. Will you mentor me?
Yeah.
I went one for one. I found somebody that matched and went 1 for 1.
Interesting.
He said yeah. So I paid him $100 an hour to get on the phone.
Oh, okay.
With him.
So then,
I was going
to ask that because, they talk a lot about on the Bigger Pockets podcast about like, make sure that you're providing value when asking somebody for like help or for a mentorship. So you didn't just go in there and be like, hey man, like, can you help me? And you like with nothing to offer. So rather than giving him some kind of value, you just actually paid him for his time. That was the agreement.
Yeah. And I don't think he didn't have any other like mentorship program or anything. And I don't think anybody ever asked him that. So I don't know because now I look around and like everybody's a paid coach, right?
Yeah.
For $250, $300. I think he just like was kind of doing me a favor, honestly. Like the $100 wasn't about the $100. It never is. Yeah. It's more about, is he going to actually like commit to this and not waste my time?
Yeah.
And $100 to me at the time, I couldn't believe it. I was like, $100, dude. I'm like, come on, man. Like just to talk on the phone for an hour. And now I'm like, that's so cheap.
Yeah.
It's cheap to get the information that he gave me too.
Yeah. Okay. So you talked to him about like, you listened to 2 of his episodes. He was, doing real estate and stuff, and something about him was inviting. And that's how you out of 100 different episodes you listen to, it's like, I'm going to reach out to him.
Yeah. That's the only one I reached out to. Yeah.
Wow. So then what happened from there?
So I told him I wanted to, I picked him because he was in the same market I wanted to be in. We were both wanting to be in Dallas Fort Worth.
Okay.
And I told him what I was doing and what I had done. And I had great knowledge at this point. I'm a sponge, dude. Like if you say it, I'm going to remember it. I'm going to be able to regurgitate it. Go on all the military boards, right? Like that was my thing. I got promoted really quickly, going to boards and stuff like that.
Nice.
So remembering things was no problem. So when I was talking to him, he could tell that I had done a lot of homework and I was already like ready to go. Saying you could do it. You just tried. And I sold the house that I had, the 3 units that I had. I had the duplex and the 1 house from my VA loan.
Yeah.
I sold it and I got paid like $30,000 from selling it. I had held it for like 5 years and it had appreciated. It was in Killeen. And I put no money down, VA loan, it appreciated and I sold it. It made like $30,000.
Nice.
So now I had my money my seed money to kind of do a deal. So he gave me some contacts, some contractors, and I networked. He gave me like 1 hard money guy, 1 wholesaler, and then I just dove into their network, tried my best to find deals. And he was an appraiser, so he taught me, add square feet, make sure you can find extra square feet so you can improve your house's value and stuff like that. So my first deal, I added there was an enclosed back porch that I, made a bedroom to make the deal work. Because I bought my deal from New Res and they give you everything, 70% loan to value. Yeah. So I had to create some money there.
Gotcha.
So, with his expertise, that's what I did. And I did all that from Germany. I was calling people and shooting emails. I'm still in Germany.
Yeah. So, I mean, talk a little bit about that, because you're, 5,000-6,000 miles away, and you're like somebody you met online, essentially over the phone. Like, yeah, you've talked to them a little bit, but we're talking like big money that you're putting on the line, and you don't really know these people. I mean, what was at all? Yeah. I mean, so what was that barrier like? And did you hesitate at all, or are you just like, I'm going to send it and we'll see how it goes?
Send it. I just sent it. I bought that house from the wholesaler. I was so nervous. I took a walk. I took multiple laps around the block. Yeah. So I'm living in the barracks in Germany, and like I'm in my little barracks room, like calling contractors, calling hard money guys, calling wholesalers, figuring out who's got the deals, who's got the money, who can I work with.
And these wholesalers, contractors, lenders, like they're all part of the same network. I mean, you got referred to them by each other, essentially, right?
Mostly, yeah.
Which is like awesome in one sense, but in another, in my own skeptical nature, I'm like, dude, like they're just like scamming people online and like going in circles and taking my money.
I trusted Josiah.
Okay.
So Josiah says, "Hey, I've bought houses from this guy before. I'm in."
Gotcha.
And but at some point you got to take a risk and bet on yourself for something.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm like, okay, this, relatively like a good relative belief. Is this fairly believable? Mm-hmm. Like this guy didn't just email me randomly, "Hey, you want to buy this house?" So I'm in Germany. I buy the house. I'm walking around the block. Like, what did I do? Like, oh crap! I just bought this house in Dallas Fort Worth.
For how much?
70,000.
70,000. Okay.
I use hard money to close, so it was a 40. I think it was like a $35,000 rehab.
Wow.
$70,000 house, but my hard money guy would do 85% loan to value. So I had my 30 grand that I made, and that's all I had to put down for the project.
Okay. Meanwhile, so again, the hard money lender, which, I mean, so this isn't really a real estate podcast at all, but I'm interested, and hopefully other people are interested in this too. So talk a little bit about like, what is hard money, and if you had $30,000 to buy a property in Texas, which obviously you can't use your VA loan for, like how does that financing deal work out?
Yeah, so the hard money people, they loan you all the money you need for a deal up to a certain percentage. Mm-hmm. So this guy loaned 85% total of the $105,000 I needed for the deal, which ended up being like $70K, right? So I had to come up with the other 35. Gotcha. And they charge you interest per month. So I was making probably like $900 payments a month to pay the hard money lender.
During the renovation process?
During the renovation, yep.
Wow.
So it takes 2 months to get the renovations done. And I'm keeping this place. I'm not flipping it. Yeah. So I immediately move somebody in there. And they're paying me $1,200 a month rent. So they're covering my hard money costs, and I'm pocketing $300. Now what I do is take that property and refinance it on long-term debt, which is like a 30-year mortgage.
Yeah.
So I refinance that house. I pay the hard money back. I get 75% loan to value. So they paid the 70% back to the hard money lender. Mm-hmm. I had to leave some money in the deal, but I got some of it back. But I think I had to leave $10K in there. But the house came back at $145,000 value.
Wow.
So I made quote unquote 40 grand, but I only got, half my money back, basically.
Okay.
But I got $145,000 house for basically like 10, 15 grand. And now I'm renting it out, and my mortgage on a $145,000 house is like $400.
Wow.
And then but taxes and insurance, I'm end up paying like maybe $800 total. I pay property management $100 or so, and I pocket the rest of that.
Cool. So basically, like this whole process, starting from listening to some episodes on YouTube to, I mean, give us an idea, because it sounds like, oh, that was really smooth, great. You just made a bunch of money. Now you've got like passive income coming in. But I mean, doing that first time, I can't, like, that's stressful. You're in you're like a 12-hour different time zone change. You're
actually, the time zone was really good. It's +7.
7.
But
Okay.
for me, I would get off work at 4. So once the pandemic stopped, I was back at work again, obviously. I would get off work at 4, and it's 6 or 7, depending on, when the hours change or whatever. But everybody's just getting up when I'm getting off.
Ideal.
Perfect.
Ideal. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect time.
Okay.
But it was very stressful. I've done it like 10 times now. So it's like, now I'm like, all right, good, let's do it. Whatever. The first time, dude, I was so nervous. It was basically all the money that I really had.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I was getting my paycheck every 2 weeks, but it was all my real money.
Were you worried about, you've done this 10 times, all burrs?
Oh, no, we do we've done some straight cash as well.
Okay.
And then we don't always like the burr. When we do burr, we do like 70% of the loan to value instead of like the full 80. So we can cash flow more. Cash flow is what's most important to me.
Yep.
That's what's going to enable me to exit from the Army when I decide to do that. Because then I'll be making, $5,000 a month and just collecting rent.
Yeah.
So cash flow is important to me, not necessarily burring and getting all my money back.
Gotcha.
Bigger Pockets teaches that burr. It's not my favorite strategy, but it is something you should learn.
Okay. I know for me, I read Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey, like when I was like a PFC or Lance Corporal, like within the first year or two of the Marine Corps. And that was like a awesome foundation for me at that point in time. But I think, at some point, depending on where you want to go, there's kind of like a graduation of that. It's like, okay, like Dave is great. And I think he teaches a lot of good stuff for that foundation of your finances. But how did you decide to kind of graduate from that mindset and move into like taking on some pretty significant leverage and risk, which is like totally counter to what Dave talks about doing?
Yeah. So I got like 3 points to make on this. So I tell people to start with Dave Ramsey regardless.
Same.
Just because it's a good thing to learn. But I say Dave Ramsey is the first 3 letters of the alphabet, ABC. But imagine if you only could talk with the letters of ABC.
Yeah.
Dude, you got 23 letters left to go.
That's a good analogy.
Like, come on, he's not giving you all of it. He's giving you a very small amount of finance. But he's made a bunch of money, teaching that. So
yeah,
great, but that can't be the only thing we go and learn. Is it's just, save your house.
Yeah.
It's gonna take you to your 65 to get $1 million.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, like I never want to take away from what he teaches, because like I said, I think it's really good information, and like more people should be practicing what he preaches. But it's also just a matter of like, as you grow, mature, and decide what your own preferences are and what your own goals are, and how much work you're willing to put in, because that is like, the Dave route is very, I don't want to say it's easy, but it takes way less work than what you're doing now. It's just like go to work, get a paycheck, and then just don't spend it all.
You don't need any hustle for that. You need zero hustle for that.
Yeah.
But I like to utilize debt as a tool. He likes to just get rid of them all.
Yeah.
So at this point, I've accumulated about $2.5 million in debt over my portfolio.
So
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's significant. So talk about, before we get too into that, talk about this a little bit, because like using debt as a tool, because in the military, we know that's not what most people in the military do. They use debt as a way to live a lifestyle they can't afford by buying their Mustangs and their motorcycles and, their Xboxes, whatever the heck else they're buying, So talk a little bit about that difference of using debt as a tool rather than, buying a lifestyle they can't afford.
Yeah. First, let me just say, I drive the worst car to everybody that I work with, and know for sure I make more money than all of them.
All right.
First thing, the barracks parking lots and everybody I work with drive brand new 2018 plus.
It's crazy.
I got like a 08. Yeah. Right. Stop buying brand new cars, people. And then using debt as a tool. My strategy for that is accumulating as much debt as I can right now because of inflation, and using it through real estate. So I've put most of my house on long-term debt, with the exception of a couple for strategic reasons. So that way my renters are paying off this $2.5 million over the next 30 years and not me. Mm. Now what happens is in 30 years, all my assets will be paid off or less, right? All be paid off and they'll all be worth probably double of what I owe now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I probably won't have paid any of that. I think I've only paid, out of all of the mortgages I have, I've probably paid them myself less than 10 times.
Wow.
Less than 10. And that's only because like I had to evict a couple people. Mm-hmm. The property management handled that. And then waiting to get a tenant in one of them, I had to pay. But other than that, they stay rented.
So 10 times, you mean like 10 mortgage payments. So 10 months worth of payments you've had to pay throughout your properties that you own. So like,
yep. I've owned these things for years, some of them for years.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people worry about like, oh, like what if my tenant doesn't pay or this, that, and the other thing. But I mean, I guess, you know, if you were to estimate that ratio that you paid versus them paying, what would you estimate that ratio to be?
Like 1%.
Okay.
Less than 1%.
Yeah.
So most of them, we keep mortgages on so that they pay them, but we, for cash reserves, right? Because no one ever pays. We have one property right now. That's two properties right now that are fully paid off. Okay. And I have a line of credit on one of them. We're going to pull a line of credit on the next one next month. But the bank, basically, I pay this property off. I rent out. It's a triplex. I live in the middle unit and I rent out the one to my left and right.
Nice.
We cash flow $1,500 total from that property. And the bank gave me 80% of the value of its worth. So it's worth $160. They gave me like $135,000 line of credit. So at all times, I can just go grab whatever I need because my property is used as leverage.
Yeah.
Huh. So and I bought this place when I was in Germany off an app. Off an app?
Which app?
It's an app called HomePath. It's a foreclosure app. So what you can do is go look on HomePath for foreclosed homes in whatever neighborhood, and it's Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac loan. You can get a loan for the foreclosed house, and then what I did was we just fixed it. We bought it for $70,000. We put about 30 into it, 30 or 40. I forget the exact. I think it's more closer to 40. We put about 40 into it, and at ARV, it's worth now $160.
And again, you renovated this while living in Germany, so you had.
Yep.
Okay, and it's in Oklahoma this time. So again,
this one's in Lawton.
This is forming that network and like building relationships to get those contacts.
Yep. Yeah, I just called a realtor that was here. Again, I looked up all the realtors and I said, okay, this one been working here a while. She has a lot of contacts. She's a top agent at Max. Called her. Boom, she knows a contractor. Bam, she knows the loan officer over here. You know, like tap into networks. Everybody knows so many people.
Yeah.
And she linked me in with a contractor that did all the electrical and plumbing and DC stuff. But then I had to bring my own guy to Texas to do the rest of the work. And so I brought my contractor from Texas to fix up the place, and then I painted like one wall. Yeah.
Like he traveled from Texas to Oklahoma to fix up one of your properties.
Yep.
And that was still worth it. I mean, like,
yeah,
that's a significant. That's a significant trip.
Well, he saves me a lot of money. Okay. And I have a lot of different little hacks I do to buy material. I use gift cards and coupons and military discount.
Yeah.
So I need to buy
gift cards from like those websites that you can sell gift cards to, and then interesting.
Yep, we'll just buy like $3,000 to $5,000 worth depending on what the material is, and we we'll get like 5% off, and then we'll conjoin them with coupons plus a military discount if it's nice. They call me the coupon guy at Home Depot. They hate when I walk in.
I love it, dude. I'm all about coupon use. Nice.
Yeah. Well, when we do flips, it saves $5,000 on material sometimes.
Wow. Yeah. So how many properties have you bought in the last year?
Over 10. I don't know the exact number right now, but yeah, over 10. Yeah, we've done some flips, mostly buy and hold. I didn't want to flip because I was looking for passive income. Yeah. But now we've wholesaled, a couple properties as well. So, and that we've purchased and then resold back to the market. So over 10 now.
So, you know, we're talking about this very casually, you know, like you're in it, you now know how the systems work and you're making it happen. But I never want to give people a false idea of what it actually takes to do this. I mean, like, like, give us an idea of the work that you're putting in and like the time it takes and the levels of stress and actually work it requires.
Yeah, I'll tell you what my schedule was in Germany, and then I'll tell you what my schedule is here. So when I was in Germany, we do PT at 6, and then I would work all day as an instructor, and then I'd get off around 4 or 5. And I would immediately get on the phone with wholesalers, realtors, everybody that's involved in the process that I have for my houses. And I would probably work till about 11 or 12. And I did that for a few months in a row.
Wow.
In Germany. Every day. Every day. And on Saturdays, I was giving real estate seminars to soldiers in Germany. Huh. Yep. Yeah, I was an instructor, so I had access to classrooms and stuff. So I was like, nice. Hey, we're just going to do a class here. I think our biggest one was maybe like 15 people. But like we taught them birth strategy and
cool,
all the stuff that goes into it. I haven't picked it back up here yet because I'm in trade ops. It's mostly basic training soldiers.
So then you're working 2 jobs right now, essentially.
Yeah, people say, "Oh, you do real estate on the side," and I go, "Dude, I'm full-time soldier, full-time real estate."
Yeah,
it's not a part-time job.
So with that said, I mean, because you're talking about like wanting cash flow and like, you know, everybody's talking about like passive income. Like it's kind of annoying how much it gets thrown around, but you know, like if you're working 2 jobs, what's passive about that? Like, do you feel like it's passive income? Or like, how does that relationship work?
Yeah, my rentals are now passive income, but I've moved away from trying to get more rentals for a little bit. Right now, we're flipping and wholesaling, and honestly, I'm moving off of the flips as well.
Yeah, why switch from rentals to flipping and wholesaling?
Yeah, so the flipping, it's a lot of work, managing contractors, going to Home Depot, buying material, researching, and all that stuff. Versus wholesaling, I can just find bad properties and sell those bad properties. I don't have to fix them.
Yeah.
And the paychecks are different, but the volume can be higher in wholesaling. I can only do a couple flips at a time. I'm limited because of cash and time.
Okay. So, I mean, do you want to move away, like for this, you know, obviously this season, you're moving away from the buy and hold because you just don't want to take out any more leverage right now? I mean, what's the primary reason for that?
Yeah, I have enough of them right now to try and just stockpile cash.
Okay.
I do have passive income with those. Like I said, we own 9 properties, so we're cash flowing all of them.
Nice.
And then as far as flipping, I have one that's done. The guy's already moved in. We're just waiting to close. And then we have another one we're starting in like 4 days. That should only take another month and then another month to sell. And after that, I'm not going to flip for a while. I'm just going to wholesale.
That's a pretty good rate of acceleration from, you know, where you were a year ago, basically when you first learned about this venture to where you are now. I mean, 10 properties purchased. Where in that time? No, go ahead.
People overestimate what they can do in 10 and underestimate what they can do in. And like, I am no one special, but I'm living proof of that.
Yeah.
1 year. People don't believe it. I say, 1 year. And they're like, nah, no way. You've been doing this longer than that.
Yeah. 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 That's a good saying. I forget who said that.
I don't know. I listen to a lot of Jim Rohn. So maybe Jim Rohn might have said it.
Gotcha. Where in the process of this past year did your thought process of like, all right, I'm going to do 20 all of a sudden end?
4 months ago.
4 months ago. Okay. What happened?
Yep. I started a wholesaling company.
Okay. So
two of my friends moved from, one of them lived in Indiana, one of them lived in Jersey. They saw what I was doing with real estate. I had all my properties. I was doing some flips and they're like, hey, what are you doing? Like, We were just on the phone all the time. Remember pandemic and stuff. They're like,
Yeah.
hey, what are you doing, dude? Like, you're doing pretty well. Like, can we fit into that? What's going on? And I was like, yeah, just you got to move here though.
No kidding. And they did it.
They moved to Lawton, Oklahoma, dude. My buddy lives in Jersey Shore. He moved to Lawton, Oklahoma because he's like, we're doing real estate.
Wow. That's legit. That's legit.
Yeah. So we started a wholesale company, and we weren't doing it right for about 2 months. We were trying. We were on the right path, right? But then I took a trip to Jacksonville with a couple of our mentors and talked to some more people that were doing real estate big time down there, wholesaling. And we got a better idea of what it's supposed to look like. And that cost us a couple $1,000s. But we figured out what it's supposed to look like. And we've closed a couple deals already. We've got a bunch of houses under contract. I was supposed to put some more under today, waiting on those emails. But we're full scale wholesaling company now. And I think that's my future.
So explain what wholesaling is.
Yeah, so basically you're finding off-market properties direct to seller, which means like the person that lives there or owns it, and you put that property under contract. And then you take that property and you find somebody that wants to flip a house or buy and hold a house. And you sell them the house for a profit in between. So you can find a house here in Lawton for like 20 grand. You can sell it to somebody that wants to flip it for 25,000.
So you're looking for kind of like, dumps, like fixer uppers. Like you drive by the place and you're like, that place, like I wouldn't want to live there. But then you're like, you see the potential in it. You go find the owner. Does the owner know your intention of just like getting under contract and then selling at a profit?
Yeah, most of the time. They don't care.
Really?
They just want their money. And
Really?
I'll tell you, dude, these are the same houses I bought that I made 40, 50K on fixing. So like, yeah, this place sucks. Let's fix it and make 50 grand. Like that's the idea of flipping or buy and hold and forcing appreciation. But some people look at these houses and they're like, oh, that house sucks. I wouldn't want to buy that. And I'm like, that's straight up opportunity, dude.
Yeah. So these sellers, they're like, they would rather you make the 10 grand off the commission and off finding a buyer than them just doing a little bit more legwork and getting the 10 grand themselves.
They don't know anybody that buys houses. That's why their house sucks. So I'm doing them a favor, helping them get rid of their terrible house. We agree on a price first. I say, hey, what do you want for that house? I'm like 30 grand. I'm like, and I know I can only sell it for 30 grand. So I'm like, I give you 20.
Gotcha.
I'm like, I don't think so. Well, what do you want? I mean, how much do you want for it? Can we agree on something? They're like, well, about 25. And then I'll negotiate something in between 20 and 25. And I'll go, this is my skill. I go find somebody that will pay more than 25 for this house and I'll sell it to them. Seller gets what they want, the price we agreed on. The buyer gets what they want, a house they can flip and make 50 grand on.
Yeah. So you've done
I get the difference.
You get the difference. Yeah. So it's almost like a commission that a realtor gets is like connecting a buyer and a seller, but you're working
it's big time sales. It's big time sales. And I didn't know it was sales when I first got into it because I'm not a salesman. I've been a soldier for 12 years. I was like, dude, I got to get better at sales. So I started reading sales books and like doing sales training. Cause I'm like, I'm Roger that 06 standing tall. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know how to sell anything, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how to sell anything. I'm like, well, I'm figuring it out now. But like, it's basically, it's a lot of sales.
Yeah. So it's funny because it's kind of like sales in reverse. Like you're not convincing somebody to buy something from you. You're convincing somebody to sell to you. So, which is just an odd flip that people don't think of when they.
But then we do sell this to the flipper. We still have to sell it to them. I think convince them this is a good deal for them. You know.
True. Huh. So then you're doing this as a business now. That like you're the head man on it. You're running it. You've got a couple of your friends that moved down there, committed to being part of the process. Is this a nationwide thing, or is it like you're building this business in Oklahoma and you have to now stay in Oklahoma after you get out?
Our main market we want to be in eventually is Oklahoma City. But we've wholesaled houses in Kentucky, Texas. We're looking to wholesale houses in Colorado.
Interesting. How do you find these houses if you're not there?
Yeah, we use website and app called PropStream. We use ListSource. We can pull data from those. And then we skip trace, which is how you get phone numbers for the people that live there. And we make 1,000 phone calls a day.
1,000 phone calls divided by how many people? 3?
So this is going to blow your mind too. We have 2 virtual assistants that we hired out of the country in Jamaica. And we're also trying to get people in the Philippines. They make the majority of our calls, but we probably make about 500 a day ourselves.
So at that point, it sounds way more like they're getting a call from a telemarketer than, we
train our people. They speak perfect English. We train them to sound like us and talk like us. We have scripts that they follow.
But but at that point, like they don't, I don't know. You can just tell the difference between somebody who is like telemarketing.
What's your? Give me your old address of yours. Let's play this real quick. Yeah,
an old address.
Yeah, or the one you have now, if you're comfortable with it.
40 South Crest Street.
I'm calling you. Pick up the phone.
Hello.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Jason. My name's Taylor.
Say yes, sir, but yeah. How can I help you?
Whatever you guys. Hey, I see on the city's website you own 40 South Main Street.
Yeah, that's correct.
Hey, I'm a local real estate investor, and I was looking to buy properties in the area. Do you have a few minutes to talk about
it? You got like 1 minute. I'm walking out the door to go to the grocery store.
Perfect. So just to be sure, would you be open to maybe taking a cash offer for the property?
I guess everything has its price.
Perfect. So just to be sure, you would consider selling to us?
Potentially.
Boom. So that's all my VAs do, and then they transfer them to me.
Gotcha. So then if they say no, and they just hang up, then you
hang up. You don't want to sell your house. We don't want to talk. Okay. We don't want to talk to you anyway. Right. You don't want to sell us your house.
Fair enough.
How hard was that? And it wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah.
Friendly.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it.
Okay. So you're paying virtual assistants how per phone call per hour? How does that work?
Dude, you can pay them 4, 5, 6, depending on where you find them at per hour.
Unreal. $4, $5, $6 an hour.
Yeah.
And they're making.
You can get them as cheap as $2, but they're not very well trained.
Yeah.
You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work to train them.
Interesting.
I'm reading a book right now. I didn't bring it with me about how to work with virtual assistants and train them and find them and everything. It's called Virtual Freedom.
Yeah. The first time I learned about virtual assistants was when I read 4 Hour Workweek, and I was just so blown away. I'm like, wait a second, like you can like pay somebody like $1, $2, $3 an hour to do your work for you. Like what?
Is it?
Yeah,
dude, we can scale. We don't want to have to call. It's a grueling job. My guys were called. My buddies, they were calling over 1,000 a day.
Oh my gosh.
When they first moved down here. So it wasn't always VAs,
Yeah. That's like Wolf of Wall Street, and the guy's like new to Wall Street making these calls, trying to sell these crappy stocks and stuff, just like constantly getting burned on phone calls. Like, oh man. All right. So let's bring it back a little bit to the military, as we kind of wrap things up a little bit. After 12 years, you've seen the world. You've been stationed a number of places. You've been deployed in a number of times. Were there programs like that? And you've been promoted like quickly, like you said, winning boards and stuff. Were you taking advantage of military programs? Were you pursuing education? What was your mindset before real estate that was giving you success in the military?
Yeah, I did a lot of studying and went to the board to get promoted. And then I did a reenlistment for college options. So I got a semester to get to go to school, not like come to work all the time, which is pretty cool. I got about
you re-enlisted, and as a reenlistment incentive, they said you can go to college for a semester.
Yep.
Weird. It almost seems like one semester isn't really like doesn't get you any closer to anything, you know?
No, it doesn't. But I got 6 months off of the Army almost.
But paid by the Army.
Yeah, I was getting paid, and I was going to college full time.
Was it GI Bill use, or was it?
No. It was just an incentive that they had at the time. I think it still exists. I mean, I don't know. I don't really keep up with all the Army stuff as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it still exists.
So you got a semester to go to college for your reenlistment. That's a program I've never heard of. Huh.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, outside of that, dude, I used, like MFLEC and stuff for counseling, which is great.
The what you said?
MFLEC, it's like military family life choice or something.
Okay.
Just like a free counselor, dude. Everyone should go to counseling. You don't have to have an issue. You should just it's a sounding board, basically.
Interesting.
To talk to somebody about your problem. It doesn't always have to be your buddy in the beer.
Yeah.
Your buddy's probably not that smart either. Like,
I think that is something that we're very slowly improving upon is that the mental health side of things and just being able to like talk to like a professional about like whatever the stress is, somebody that really just is good at listening.
Yeah, they're a professional listener.
Yeah.
What are you doing here? And then I used the crap out of my VA loan. That was probably the biggest thing I've been able to take away from the military. I've used it like 3 times now.
3 times. So I've heard different things about. I've heard you can have multiple out at once. Have you done that successfully?
Yeah, I had 3 at one time.
3 at one time.
Yeah, and then I sold that house. And then they just recently changed. I forget all. They just recently changed it when they took back the cap off of it, so you can.
Yep.
There's a guy in San Diego, $1.2 million for fourplex.
I met him. Brandon.
Yeah, he was on Military to Millionaire podcast. And people don't listen to him. He's pretty good.
Yeah,
he's a good podcast too. I was on his podcast too. He's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's good. I've had him on. He's a cool guy.
Yeah. So like, that's how he's the main guy. You want to learn about the VA loan? Go listen to Dave Ramsey. He's got all the stuff with the VA loan for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's a definitely incredibly valuable tool, especially like if you're still you're getting PCS, you're moving stations, and you have that ability to just like keep buying more, and like, for you, if you had the quote unquote like investor mindset when you first purchased, do you feel like you'd be, how like before you bought your first house, if you had implemented that and you had known that, how would things be different right now? Do you think?
It'd probably be the same. I did really good.
Oh, okay. You got lucky.
My friend Shaq calls it lucky dummy. I got lucky dummy because I bought a duplex in House Hack and rented a room. Like that's what they preach. And then I bought a huge house. I bought a 4-bedroom house in Killeen, which like only 18% of the houses are, as of last year, are 4 bedrooms. So it was like a high in demand house. And it appreciated really good. So I got lucky on both of those.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's funny because even people that are like putting forth the effort to invest well don't get lucky sometimes, and it goes very poorly. So
those are trying hard to like make money and they're just unsuccessful at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right on. I'm throughout your time, where do you feel like your favorite place has been that the Army has sent you?
Germany. I traveled the whole year when I was there. And I like the work hours. It's like I'm still do my U.S. work. I'm cramming everything in right now. 9 to 5. It's both of them are almost at the same time. When I was there, they can separate them. And I love traveling, man. That's kind of why I'm doing what I'm doing, so I can get. My goal is to make like 25K a month, so I can just kind of go wherever I want to go at all times. In the world.
25K a month from rental property cash flow alone, or from
rentals and wholesaling. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so rentals and wholesaling.
You eventually hope to have the wholesaling business on autopilot.
Yes.
Yeah. That's tight.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. Maybe I could probably put a couple years of work into it myself and then hire a CEO to run it.
Okay. how much longer do you have in? When are you transitioning out?
I got time, brother. I got 4 years, so I got to figure.
4 more years. So you're going to get out at 4 more, you said 12? So like 16 more years. You're going to get out at 16 years.
Yeah, I mean, unless I make $1 million over the next year, then I'll just get chaptered.
Huh?
Yeah, you can get a chapter for making too much money in the Army.
Like they kick you out because you're making too much?
Yeah, they almost have nothing left to offer me now. Imagine if I was a millionaire. What am I doing this for?
So they'll straight up kick you out. They won't even give you the choice.
I wouldn't want to stay. So I would just ask
I understand that, but
chapter.
some people like enjoy the military to an extent where they want to stay in or something.
They probably wouldn't tell them that they had that. They might just do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So my story is probably gonna end up being, made too much money, so I had to get out of the Army because I ain't doing it more.
So that's your goal, is to make $1 million so that the Army will let you just leave.
Yeah.
That's a very unique goal.
Fun goal.
Yeah.
Speaking of goals, you got to set them, because if you don't, you're just like out here taking day by day with no real plan. Hey, I got to roll. My first sergeant's calling me. Is that okay?
All right, man. Well, yeah. I appreciate that. Before signing off, where can people connect with you if they want to learn more?
Yeah, Naaman_Taylor on Instagram. That's where I'm at. You can find me on Facebook, Naaman Taylor, as well.
Awesome. I will. I'll make sure you're linked below in the description. And have fun on duty, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Yep. All right, Jason.
All right. Talk to you later. Hey, everybody. Sorry about that quick, abrupt ending there. That is just the reality of trying to squeeze in a podcast or a phone call while on 24-hour duty. If you guys are not in the military yet, that's definitely something that you will likely have to deal with, is 24-hour duty. Nothing crazy, but it does require your attention. So while Naaman had to get pulled out a little bit early, definitely don't miss out on the opportunity to follow him on Instagram and continue learning from his experience, what he's working on to further educate yourself. So really hope you guys enjoyed that episode, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.